All right, what's going on, macro perspective peeps? All right, I'm doing this one standing just because I've been sitting all day, so I just need to stand. But Marcus and I are here with Luke Barrow. If you guys remember, we had Kayla Barrow on before, and she was awesome, talking about fitness, talking about water, talking about a bunch of things. And she was like, "I got to recommend my man's." I got to meet Luke too. I met Luke about like a year or so ago out in OC or Anaheim at High Rocks, and then now we've gotten connected. But Luke, real fast for the audience, just kind of a conversation, probably just three coaches chatting it up. You mind introducing yourself and your little elevator pitch about you, my man?
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me on, guys. That's true. We did meet at High Rocks. I totally blanked on that. I was wondering if we had met in person, but yeah, I'm all over the place with that stuff. But yeah, I've been a private trainer and coach for over a decade now here in Orange County, a little bit over in LA before Orange County, but pretty much been doing it my whole life since, out of college. And yeah, I'm from Illinois originally, came out right out of high school when I was around 17, literally graduated, left the next day. It's kind of just how I do things. I just kind of pull the trigger and figure it out later type of mentality, which it doesn't, it's not always great to do that, but at being 17, that was kind of where I went. Yeah. With that came a lot of trials and errors, obviously, as you can imagine, small farm town to millions of people. So had to learn quickly, follow my butt and learn that way. And yeah, just eventually figure it out. I think I got into training originally, one, from sports. I played sports basketball my whole life. And then through, when that was done, I think it was more of okay, I find this interesting in a sense of like the athletic training, the like being the best you can at a sport or specific thing, So like just kind of dived into that more, with the anatomy route in college and kinesiology route. And then from there, wasn't a huge fan of the books. I was like, man, I'm all about like throw me in the fire, I'll learn that way, trial and error, like I said, and just being hands on. So I immersed myself in it. My brother was a trainer at the time, doing pretty well, and he was working hand in hand with a celebrity trainer, trained a bunch of athletes. Like he was in it. So I just kind of threw myself in the fire. I was like, yo, let me just shadow these guys and get good at that, and just be around it, And then obviously from there, the certs and the book knowledge it plays a factor, but I learned the most by being around it and absorbing everything I could like a sponge. Yeah, that's how I fell into that, and I've been doing it ever since. For the most part, I have my own business, so I don't go to a gym. I'm not at a gym, never have been. I've always owned my own business. I have all my own equipment. I go to my clients, so I do house calls primarily, or like park or beach or what have you, depending on the season and depending on the client, of course. But yeah, man, I like it. And now coaching more specifically online, not just fitness, covering nutrition, mindset, all that. So mindset's huge, especially as you get older and you have a family and you're a dad. I'm a dad, so that's huge. It's like someone's watching you now. So that'll get you to get your shit together pretty quick. I hope. Had him young too. 25. I think I just turned 25. My son, he's 8 now. So yeah. But anyway, I probably rambled, but that's a little bit. Yeah.
I love that.
That's a lot of bit about me, I guess. Yeah.
That was the Cliff Notes version for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure if people haven't, obviously you have a podcast that you said has been on the back burner for a little bit now, but for our audience and people, it's always good to kind of get something where they're like, okay, how is this guy relatable, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know you had a kid though. And that news to me. I too. My son's over there in the background. Like he's like, Dad, make me some mac and cheese right now. I was like, bro, you gotta wait an hour. Sorry.
It's like do it right now.
Yeah. He's like, oh, you want a snack for the time being? He's like, no, I'll just wait. I'm like, well, that's what happens when you don't let me know, or you wait till the last minute when you know I have something that's coming up. So the joys of parenting.
That's how it works, man. Yeah, I share time, so it's I have a little break, so I can't complain about that too much. I get a nice little break in there, so it's not a nice break. I mean, you want always, I would love more time with them, but it's just how it felt. But you get a little split where you're like, okay, I can breathe a little bit now too.
Yeah, let me get done with my critical task for self during these weeks where you're not around, so that I can be more present when you are. It's yeah. That's So, I mean, we both had our kids at like the same age. I feel like I was 24 when we got pregnant. So they say it was just turned 25 basically after he was born. I feel like, well, Seamus, I mean, guy with no kids in the room,
Yeah, right.
Why would you want to get started on, I mean, was it like a whoops or was it like an actual thing that you
it was a whoops. It was a whoopsie. The best whoops, right? I mean, It was a whoops, but yeah, I was with his mom for a little while, and it was just kind of one of those things, and it happened, and tried to make it work, do the whole family thing for a little while, and then what I noticed, to your point, is just like neither of us were really that happy, and I stayed till he was one. So I left. I kind of got out of the situation when he was one. But what I'm saying is, I'd rather him see, a functioning relationship, having some mold. It's very important to see that, especially the way I grew up. And I didn't see that. So it's like, I'm going to get out as hard as it is, feel like I'm leaving, abandoning my family. Right. But it was just one of those things, again, where you got to make the hard decision and see the bigger picture. So for me, it was like, let me get out of a volatile place and give him something to mold himself off of, like give him something to see that's healthy, a relationship, a marriage that he can go off of. So
How did that how's that impacted your coaching? Again, having to deal with, quote, the emotional baggage of like leaving something behind. Whereas like, I think far too often, when people are coming to us and they're describing potential big life event changes, right? Like you've obviously had one where you had to make these, like, again, a very difficult decision. Like, is there ways that that's like obviously translated over the last 8 years or 7 years, like in coaching more of your clients now that you've been, again, kind of in the trenches one-on-one and doing that with because obviously like most coaches know, like conversations that happen with people in that setting it's intimate, it's different, right? They're having, they want to almost kind of treat it as a therapy session at times, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like, so like, how has that impacted that?
It's helped definitely connect and resonate with people. I try not to get super therapeutic. I try not. I let them vent, right? Like I let my clients go therapy mode all day if they want to. It's just I'm there for them. I'm serving them, still focusing on the goal at hand and not getting too far off track. But yeah, you get that. I think it's relatable. People just whether they've been through similar experiences or what have you. It's just I think it's helped me too. To your point, coach men, especially dads, especially because it's like I feel more equipped, to your point, going through all the hardship up front from a young age. That's all I've kind of really known. I've always made the hard choice and figured it out, and from that comes immense learning lessons. I mean, you just, you grow tremendously through that, even though it's a hard thing to do. So I feel like when you're coaching, it's just kind of like your certificate, if you will, like your life certificate. Like, this is why I'm qualified to help lead, because it's like I've lived that lifestyle, I've lived it, and I'm continuing to live it. And I'll always choose hard, like I always choose hard. That's just kind of how I'm programmed now. And that's how I want to program my son, seeing me do hard things and just going through that. And hey, we always figure it out. Like you just gotta, and again, it's, I say figure it out. That doesn't mean like don't have a plan or just be stupid about it. But, I think it just, most people stop themselves from doing anything at all or making that hard decision, because they don't have that mindset of like, oh, I'll figure it out. They have the limiting beliefs or, that inner work's huge. So I just feel like it just equipped me earlier to deal with all sorts of situations that came my way. So yeah.
I know. Again, I feel like your perspective of the conversations, even though it's more centered towards what they're feeling, like, again, just how you're processing it probably feels different if it hadn't happened versus since it has. And
Yeah.
I think oftentimes, I think I say this all the time, Seamus, right? Where we get into conversations with people, and the funny thing is, like, there's a theme to the week, and the theme again is like job changes. And like it's like, oh yeah, great, but then like you just mentioned, like the limiting self beliefs of, sometimes we stay around things that are comfortable, maybe a little bit easy, things that allow us to kind of do a lot of the things that we prioritize versus taking action, because it can be hard, and the consistent imperfect work that it is to move to the next like level of life ends up being difficult. Yeah, I don't know. Today, Seamus, I was like, it's probably the happiest I've been. There's a lot of changes and uncertainty kind of about to go on, but like it's actually like calming to me.
Love it.
I know you probably can't speak upon those uncertainties and changes just because of NDAs, or I'm just kidding. Of just
Yeah,
obviously
yeah,
work
no, there's
of
no
work
NDAs,
of
bro. I'm not
work
even to that
things,
phase.
but like it's kind of weird, right? Like I feel Marcos, Luke, you probably know, it's like just because you guys are dads, I'm not there yet, but like just like Marcos says this all the time. It's like there's so much uncertainty with his kids. He's just like, yeah, I don't know what the next 9 days looks like. This is this season. I don't know what this season is. It's probably gonna be this season. And it's like, I feel like Marcos has been a like this brotherly figure in my life that like I'll talk to him about something that's stressing me out. He's like, have you talked about this and this perspective? And I'm like, oh yeah, it's probably not that. It's probably not that serious. And I know I go to him for a lot of wisdom because I'll be like talking to him and I'm like tripping about like something. He's like, no, have you thought about it like this? And I'm like, shit, I'm fucking tripping, And then I know that I'm probably gonna get a lot of these talks with him when like I've been thinking about kids a lot lately. I don't know what it was, but the other day I was just looking at Desiree and I was like, yeah, I think we can have kids now. Like I don't know what happened, bro. I was just looking at her and I was like, yeah,
because it was because you're betrothed finally and you did it in the house of God.
Yeah,
that's probably why God was like,
your family's gonna judge you anymore if you have a kid.
Yeah, so yeah, everything's like looking good. I'm like, yeah, the kid's coming, but yeah, I feel like I don't want to push on this a little too much, but like Luke, like, the inner workings. You said something about like inner workings, and I know that like working with men, like I don't know, sometimes you get in the social media sphere, it's like, oh, I work with men, and it's like kind of like cheesy, like, oh, I work with men. If you're a man, if you're a dad, like do this. But it's I get it. They're doing it because it's like, um, they have to specify, marketing. They talk about niching down, and it's like it's weird by niching down, like you actually get more people because it's like you're speaking to that specific avatar.
Yeah.
But what beyond that though, like what are the mindset things, those inner working things that you worked uniquely, that you found uniquely resonated with the men you work with? Because like there's some things that like Marcos has been doing an amazing job. He does like amazing work with like these challenges. It's like they're CrossFit athletes, so like that's those inner workings. I do really well with like professional men that are like want to work on this thing. It's like, what is it about that inner working that you found is like, all right, these are the things I like to tack on with my mindset part of the coaching?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think obviously everyone's different with how they respond to different coaching styles. The coaching style is not for everybody, that's for sure. To your point, it's great to niche it down because you find your people a little bit more so that way, but I'm kind of a tough love guy, I don't sugarcoat anything. Like, I think there's so much fluff, not fluff, but I think that's the problem with today's society is like, it's not specific enough when you're coaching men or something. Like, I don't think that there's enough tough love out there because, as you know, it's crazy world we live in now. But, just seeing that, like, especially with a kid, I'm like, dude, dads need it more than ever right now. Like, men and specifically dads. Like, I see so much potential left on the table when it comes to dads and even friends, like, even people who I know personally where I'm like, dude, how are you, I'm like, you have like little people watching you at all times. Like, you don't think about that,
Yeah, like when you say like
it's not being perfect. It's just,
yeah, when you say like potential left on the table, like their hard work capacity, like they're in their body, how they look, how they like show up, like what was that?
a combination of all that. It's mostly how they show up. I mean, I think we get programmed in that 9 to 5 mentality. Like, success looks like, making the most money you can. Like, that's not everything, like that's a big thing. That's huge. That's important, but it's like these guys that make the most money are just like slugs when they get home, or they're out of shape. The mental capacity for what stresses them out or what like affects them it's minor, like they haven't done that. They haven't been through enough or done the work, to like not get rattled by just normal life events. Right. And then from there, it's like, yeah, you make so much money, but like, you're not really leading the house. You're not really leading your home.
Ooh. Oh, you gotta drop this a little bit. Leading the home.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's part of like, what I'm saying is left on the table. It's like people are relying on you to lead. That's what we do as men. That's kind of in our nature. That's our job. That's what we want to do. But it looks different for everybody and situational to some extent. But like I said, it's just I work with so many people who are like, oh, I'm just too busy, and that's it. And that's it. And I'm like, it's baffling to me because I'm like, you don't think we're all like everyone's busy, dude. Like everybody's busy. And then I always remind people, I'm like, just when you think like 3 months from now won't be as busy, something else is going to come and rock your world and you're going to be even busier, if not just as busy. So it's like life never stops getting busy. There's slower moments, of course, but even then, what I've noticed is it's more of a mentality thing where even in the slow moments, these guys will create a different excuse of why they're not doing it. Right now, I'm not busy, but it's finances. Now I'm not now I have a ton of money and I'm not that busy, but it's, you know, a new show just came out on Netflix or anything, dude. I hear it all day. I hear everything. You know what I mean? Like I hear it all. Like it's just
Yeah.
is like it looks different for everybody. I'm not here to like criticize anybody, but that's also what I feel like is my passion and my purpose to like pull the best out of like these men and dads who aren't hitting their full potential. You know, in short, it's like there's a lot left on the table in multiple areas.
Dude, the fact that you're saying, I want to give it to Marcos and say, but the fact that you're like saying, man, there's a lot of table. I know it's like the end of the day for all of us, but I'm like so charged by that quote. Like, it's like, dude, there is so much fucking left on the table. Like, I don't know what my true potential is, dude. I have no clue.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've hit that ceiling. Yes, I had a wedding this year, and that was like the busiest season. Marcos is fucking like dealing with my stress. I was calling my brother, my mom, like, but I was like, but after that, I was like, I'm still alive. So like, you know, like dealing with that work and all this, I think there's more. But yeah, I think, you know, Marcos.
Well,
Yeah.
no, to that point though, I don't think you ever fully arrive. We never feel like when you're in that when that's how you're wired mentally, like when you're truly wired that way. Like I don't think there's ever a time where you're just like I've pretty much hit it all. Like that's pretty much it. Like I climbed Mount Everest. I made you know, whatever. Like you just keep wanting more because we're programmed that way. It's what's next. It's not like that should do it. You know, like there it is. Like there's never a click moment. It's just a constant thing.
Yeah.
But like at least you know, like you can tell pretty quickly, like you either live that lifestyle or you don't. You know, like I can separate people immediately just by
100%.
him in a conversation with them.
I love Marcos's take on this too, is because when people say they're busy and stuff like that, Marcos, like I know Marcos, like the way he thinks is like, motherfucker, like I'm a parent, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm also working too. Like it's like you can't use that quote around me, like you know. But I'll give it to Marcos, like kind of like his thoughts on like the busy parent, or you know.
I think it's just what's the word? It's a mask. It's a disguise we hide behind our busy schedule and calendars to not do the things that could be critically important for us. We all do it. Like, again, today I was like, finally, I got a day where I can kind of like chill, and I was like, no, I gotta be busy on this other thing, right? To hear that as an excuse, it's just that like a lot of people haven't learned to actually prepare for things that matter to them because they've only ever been done, myself included, we've only ever done things we've been told to do, right? So I kind of prefer what you're mentioning about like, dude, I just bounced out of where I went to school and went literally to the West Coast and just said, I'm gonna just figure it out here, because there is probably no better like life lesson than just trying to figure out in a place that you want to be. It's scary, but like, you know, I was thinking about this on my drive to work this morning on a conversation with the client where it's like, you know, these moments are tricky and tough in navigating it. And, my wife, for example, James, I don't know if I told you, but she's getting a new role. And so things are changing, right? And so she's like, okay, my schedule's going to be this to this, some set hours. And it's been a while. It's been like 7 years since she's like worked like, you know, set schedule. I was like, but you actually thrive on the consistency of a set schedule. So this is probably a benefit to you, not a detriment. And oh, well, I'm going to miss all of our son's soccer games, or I'm going to miss all these games. It's like, no, you're not. You get time off. You can take it. Like, you know what I mean? Like you just have to understand that you got to navigate some new things. And just because the schedule you have now or the days you have off right now are what they're hiring you for, doesn't mean that they're going to stay that way. Look at how I tell her, like, look at how my role changed so much in the last 7 years. I went from every single day in the office to COVID to traveling all over the US to like openings that weren't filled, you know, for our things, into like back to where I started. And people were like, even my boss was like, wouldn't you feel like that's a demotion? I was like, no, my family needs me to be home more and be consistent. It's okay. You know, am I gonna miss the travel and my alone time? Like you mentioned, Luke, with like getting away from the kids for a little bit. But fuck yeah. You know, nothing was better than that 15-minute power nap when you get on a plane. You're just like, dude, I have nothing to worry about. But then after one day in the hotel room alone, I was like, fuck, this already sucks.
Yeah.
Especially in the city you've already like kind of visited. Like you're like, this place fucking whack. Like
yeah, but I mean, all cities start to look the same, right? There's certain things I seek because my things that I value were, where's the gym? Where's the nearest grocery store that I can get foods that are going to stay relatively compliant to what I need to do, right? All the things that I coach to people. And I tell them, I was like, dude, I took my L's on the first time I went to X place. It doesn't like name it, because I didn't know where anything was. I did my best to think about it, but emotion got the best of me. I missed the connecting flight and I didn't give a shit, right? I ate an entire pizza versus a slice because I was sulking in the fact that I wasn't going to be able to work it out the next day. Just shit. It's like, it's okay. But like live and learn. learn to be better. And kind of like you were saying about like the excuses or the busyness or hiding behind that, like, these days, like you just said, like 10 years into coaching for all of us plus, right? Like, we want you to we want people to get the result, but I also, they're like, oh, but I wasn't perfect. I was like, that's okay. You're never going to be, there's Jameis. So remember how I mentioned, like, so I have one client and I don't really do like training, right? Like I don't train people in person. So he is the avatar of anybody's dreams. Someone that will follow your instructions to a T for the most part, like 90 to 95% of the time. He messaged me yesterday morning. Yeah, yesterday morning. He's a veteran. So he's like, I went to the VA. Did you know I haven't weighed below 225 or at 225 in 21 years?
Holy cow.
And when I first started with him, I said, dude, you can probably lose 10% in the first 12 weeks. And he's like, to a T. He's like, I'll be damned. You were right. I was like, yeah, like this is it. I was like, were you perfect during that time? He's like, no, but like I've lost weight faster than this before. I was like, yeah, but it came back on. These strategies and ideas that we're all trying to put together are meant for the busy individual. And for the busy individual, the biggest thing that they need to understand is that they like to overload themselves, become even busier, and then burn the candle at both ends, and then actually never see the lasting change.
Well, yeah, and I always remind people or clients, like, it's not about. Yeah, I have my days too, man. Like I'm human, dude. Like I go through it too. Consistency looks different for people too. It's just about like. It's just it goes back to like, yes, I'm not asking you to be perfect, but I am asking you to like step into more potential, dude. Because you're like, what I'm hearing now is just that's why you'll never be like the man you could be. It's just like, don't you want to be better? It's like it's just, and then from there, it's not again. I'm not saying you got to go out and do X, Y, or Z specifically. It's just about like creating small changes daily that honestly I remind people it's in the small details. Like they seem small when you're doing them, but done over time, but that's what makes the world of difference. You know what I mean? And that's what creates sustainability. The biggest thing for people is like they get burnt out, right? Because they try to go from 0 to like 90 to 100. It's like, dude, just take it. Like, here's the blueprint. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take not baby steps. Like we're gonna go, but at the same time, like it's gonna be sustainable for you. Like it's gonna be attainable. It's not gonna be like I'm never gonna ask you to do something unrealistic. It's gonna be uncomfortable. Yeah, hell yeah, it is. But that's why we're here. Because you're comfortable all around.
It's so funny you bring this concept up of like moving through your own roadmap as opposed to like just finding someone else's. I feel like everything's just an N of one. I was watching like talking about the things we like a Hunter McIntyre video today about like how he's preparing for like Murph and like High Rock. He's like talking about like you, like all of you guys that are watching my videos are probably gonna look at me and go like, well, let me get his program and do it. It's like, first off, who the fuck are you? like have you done the preset work you needed to get to just where I'm at now and then do this program that I'm talking about now? This ain't for you.
Yeah.
And I think the truth is that that's what coaching is. And like people see successful people of like, oh, I see this guy on stage, he looks great. I see this athlete, they look great, or this like person that's like successful. I want what they have. And they don't realize there is a whole alphabet of things they need to do. They just can't go A to Z. They need to go A, B, C in their own path. And I think a coach, this is why I love coaching, is just like, Marcos, we love this analogy. He's like, look, it's dark out. You got to cross this pond and there's like little rocks and that there's a path there for you. And as a coach, we're just flashing some lights on those paths for you to jump so you could stay dry across this path.
Yeah.
You may not follow the same path that someone else did, or you might try this stone and you try that stone and you like that one better and you go this way. It's challenging enough, but it's within your capacity. I don't think people realize that. Like they want, for lack of a better word, they want results now.
Yeah.
I fucking paid Luke. I want my 6-pack abs now. I was like, bitch, you didn't even earn it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's also, as a coach, and I'm sure you guys feel the same way, is like the expectation is also, like unrealistic half the time, but it's also a matter of like, it's kind of, it sucks when you're really passionate about it, when you obviously you want to help these people and create real change. And it's like, unfortunately, dude, I'm not there at your house. Like, I can't spoon feed you as much as I really want to. Like, if you don't do what I'm saying, like this shit won't work. It just won't. So, it should be obvious, but it's like that. you'd be surprised how many people are like, oh, I didn't see results. And then I'll like start breaking things down. I'm like, cool. Did you implement this, or hey, what'd you do in this time frame when I said, like you start getting the real like limiting the factors out of the way, and they're like, oh, well, I did, but yeah, there it is. Like, it's just, and you want the best for people, but again, man, you can only do so much. Like, it's only within our control to some extent. We can only control what we can control and apply it. If they're not gonna do the work, then they're just dead in the water. Obviously, it's just obvious. But I don't know. I see it all day, dude. I mean, you'd be surprised how much. Well, you're probably not surprised. I mean, coaching yourself, so you're probably not surprised about what you can hear, or what the excuses are, and just. I think it's funny because it's like they're expecting. I'm like, do you want me to react differently, or do you want me to be like, dude,
No.
that's blatantly obvious? Like,
To,
yeah, no,
to this day, my favorite quote. Marcus and I laugh about this. I think it was in like a group call in my work session before. These two patients came in and they literally said, Seamus, we've been on Ozempic for 6 weeks. Why the fuck do we not look like models yet? And I was like,
wow,
how long did it take for you to gain the weight that you've been at? Oh, it took you 30 years and you've been at that weight for 30 years. You expect this thing called Ozempic to have you at supermodel levels in 6 weeks? Like, dude, get out of here. Like, not even that's going to do it.
yeah. Everyone wants a quick fix, man. Everybody. It's just that's just how, and that's my point to like. I like the process, man. Like when I set a goal, I love that I love the training. It's like that's literally the whole reason to do it. It's like getting uncomfortable up until the point you're going to do the event or the challenge. You know what I mean? Like that's the growth. That's literally where the growth is. Like it's just people literally want to skip, like you said, A to Z. It just doesn't. Nothing. I don't know. I'm baffled at people's mindset to be like, there's something out there. Like there's something that's going to come out where I'm going to go A to Z. It's like, it's just not like, okay, keep waiting, like I don't care. But I don't know, man. It's just, that's why I'm like, I can't save the world, but I can do my part and like pull these guys to like draw more out of themselves, and if I made a little impact, it's an impact, still an impact. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. And I think you're right, like, because you were mentioning earlier, like societal norms of like the participation ribbon, right? The fairness,
100%.
equality or equity in playtime, the whatever it is. And that's just not like it is bled into a lot of things in like the workplace in a sense. And it has not necessarily led to all the cogs being greased properly to have a, run a tight ship or for things to function properly, right? We actually had a moment this weekend where we had some adversity because things weren't going our way for my son's soccer team. It was a great learning moment and life lesson because should have won handily, right? And there were some substitutions that went on that again didn't necessarily make sense. We're like, dude, the first half of the game, 0 subs. He's never not subbed. And this is indoor soccer. You're running like a fiend. Like the kids get freaking gassed, dude. They're just running back and the whole time, right? And they sub in the second half. And I'm like, again, like I'm like, what's going on here? We were up 7-2 or 7-4, and then like the game was 9-4, and then they get tied. They tie it up. So in indoor soccer, Luke, this is pretty wild. So they kind of play like a hockey rule. Like if you get like a penalty, you play a man down. So we're like, they're on a power play, like the last minute 30. And I was like, oh, dude, can they do it? And the one thing our kids haven't practiced, which is again, teachable moments, is how to run out the clock, how to lollygag, and how to like make it so that they come and then they just kick the ball, like out of the way and just like kill time, right? Which I'm like, all right, cool. That's like a teachable moment for, this week, right? But then the other thing that happened, the ref basically like, again, they effed up a situational play, like a free kick where he touched it twice. We touched it twice earlier in the game and we had to give them the ball. They did it. And then they were like made an excuse. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? Why? Like, there was no fairness here, right? There was clearly one-sided on the referee side. And it's normally like that. Like the teams that they get preferential treatment for like the indoor teams that are like part of the organization, right? All right, cool. They end up scoring with like literally 3 seconds left, tie it up. And I was like, oh, it's semifinals. I was like, what happens here? Because we haven't played extra time or anything like that yet. They do penalty kick shootouts, like 1v1s, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And they score first. They go like their crowd goes wild. And literally like this is the first time we're like the only game in the facility. So the pressure's on. I'm getting adrenaline. I'm like over here like, oh shit, dude. Like my son's about to like do a 1v1. I was like, I hope he doesn't fuck up so I don't have to see him cry. That's my son. They end up scoring. They block one. My son actually ends up scoring. We block one, so it's 1-1. So it's like sudden death from here on out. I don't even know what the rules were. It was just me. Like, this is assumptions here, right? They score. All right, cool. It's our last chance. Our kid makes a move. Great play, and then he misses it. All right, cool. So all of our kids are super dejected, and again, they're like, "Is that it?" And it's like, "Yeah, like we're done with this season. We'll move on, right?" But in terms of the teachable moments and things that are going on there, is like, all right, cool, guys. Like, there's a lot of things here. Like, we're not winning this league. We got fourth, maybe third. I don't know. We don't play a consolation game, right? We're not winning the trophy. What's going to go on? It's like, my son's like, oh man, but like, I really played my best today. I was like, isn't that the first thing we said when we came to here? Is like, all I care about is your effort. The outcome doesn't matter. It's the effort, right? Do you feel as though you did everything in your power to help the team? Did you make any mistakes that you feel as though you could have done better? It's like, yeah, maybe misplayed a couple of things here and there. I'm like, cool, right? Work on that next time, right? But in terms of like those final moments, do you feel accomplished with like your effort? He's like, yeah, I feel like I gave us a shot, and like that was like, he's like, but I cried at the end. I was like, dude, it's okay in that moment when you're clearly frustrated and you left your heart out there. Like, that is the moment for you to let the emotions out. Not because the game is going on and the game's over, but once it hits zero, and like having those teachable moments are powerful. And it's crazy because, again, that's adversity. Like you said, to get on top of the mountain. Well, then what? I mean, Tom Brady won what, 7 Super Bowls or what, 5 Super Bowls or whatever. I think it's 7 actually. Right? What kept him going back after he won? I've won a CrossFit competition. What kept me going back? It's like, was I actually that good, or did I just get lucky? Right?
Yeah.
Like, what motivates you to get back on the horse after you win something? The process. Yeah, I got to the point in my career with like competing. I was like, people are like, why do you like competing? I was like, I fucking hate competing. I do it because I need something to work towards. And if I don't have that thing scheduled, I'm not working hard.
Dude, it's so true. Can I just it's so true. Like, if I don't have something on my calendar, like 100%. I feel like training is just like, yeah, I'm training. It's good. But it doesn't give that same like fervor of like, oh shit, I'm showing up December 14th, Anaheim, doubles with my boy. And if we show up and we don't ball out the way we said we did, and we fall on our ass and we look embarrassed, it's just like, the fuck are you doing? Like, that's just how I think. Like, it's so sad.
No, for sure. Yeah, it's 100% true. I always keep myself busy on to the next challenge for that reason. It's like I operate on pretty much every level, better when I'm training for something specific and I'm in the thick of like that regimented, structured training of like, dude, I have a goal, and it's like severe. Like you have to be ready. And I think it's cool too. For me, it's like when I announce something. Like if I tell people, like if I go on like my Instagram or or if I tell like my close family and friends and like people who I value their opinion, it's like if I tell them I'm gonna do this by X amount of time, I'm like, then it just like, dude, I'm not gonna go back on that. Like I have to be prepared for a December 14th or whatever, so it's just a different thing. It's like a different training and like mentality that you tap into, and everything just kind of fires on better cylinders. I feel like I'm just better in all areas, man. Business, being a husband, father, and just at my peak fitness level too. It's like working on myself. So it's just like I think it just translates in so many different areas when you're really involved into that training process. Or it could be business too. Hey, I have a business goal. It's not just it's not just physical. I think it's any goal that you have when you're in it, in that process. To your point, it's the process. It's like when you put a time frame on it, it amplifies it.
I think there's this quote in the strength and conditioning room, like college. It was like, a goal is just a dream without a date, right? But once you put a date on it, it's like a reality. And then when you tell other people about it, it's like, it's game time,
Yes.
It's so true. I think fitness, sport. I feel like sports is like the best analogy for life. Marcos and I talk about it so much. It's just like, it really is that thing where you learn teamwork, you learn a deadline, you learn that game-winning moment, whether you show up or not. You're given the opportunity. It doesn't mean you're given the result, and you could see back and play it back and go like, oh, that's where I messed up. I mean, that's why like. I know I was talking with somebody about this about kids the other day. They're like, what would you like for your kids to do sport? I know you wrestled your whole life. Like, do you want them to do all wrestling and like all martial arts? I'm like, no, I want them to do like what they want to do, but they will be in one form of martial art every single year because I feel like that sport teaches wrestling, like different forms of martial art teaches you like the one thing some other sports probably don't, which is it's only you out there and you have that full on onus of your autonomy and you're making those decisions that are like high level at a high critical time and you can't be like, well, I threw the ball, the guy didn't catch it. You can't blame it, but there's also that component where they do need to know like the team aspect and all that. But yeah, I feel like it's all like an analogy because it's like sports give that whole thing. You have this big challenge, you have this deadline, you got to work with the team, you got to make it happen, you either do it or you don't, and it's real time feedback. I mean, business is like that. I know you're a business owner, you're entrepreneurial in that way, and it's like it's all on you. It's like you gotta figure it out. And you got to push the narrative. No one's coming to save you. No one's going to do it for you. There's people that are helping you. There's books you can read, there's masterminds you can join, there's courses, there's just podcasts you can listen to. But at the end of the day, that's just like mental masturbation until you get to the action.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I agree. Totally.
Yeah.
I think you're right about like kind of wish. I think maybe the introduction to some of the martial arts was a little too early for my kids. Not that we can't go back to it, but like what it really teaches you is patience and discipline. And I feel like again in today's world that can go a real long way. But like you can't only do that in today's world either. You also need to like do something in a collaborative setting. Like
Yeah,
there,
exactly. That's why I think you still need the team sports. Yeah.
yeah, you against you, or you against one v one. But then you also have like, how do you work together with other people? Because if you never learn how to share or facilitate, then
Mm-hmm.
you may not ever be able to actually do things like scalably. Like you can't
No,
have scalability in
exactly.
your life because shit, dude. Like how many times have we tried to do certain things and we're just like, that we just run out of time.
Yeah, we gotta learn how to like I was speaking with our lead today about this, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm not being a good leader because like I'm having lunch while we're on this meeting and all these things, and then like I have this vacation. I promise you, like I I'm gonna be off my phone." And we're like, I held him to it. I was like, no, a good leader, like if it's a vacation, you do that fucking vacation. Like turn off Slack, turn it off because it's like he's like he understands. He's like, yeah, I think what a good leader is like he did a lot of the work himself back in the day, but he's realizing he trusts us and he trusts us enough to realize like even if there are problems, you have to give the people and the team that you have the ability and the space to do the problems you gave them to do instead of like micromanaging, like checking in, like just let it go. One of the best leaders that I ever worked with was I used to run this gym in La Cañada out here where I live, Luke, and he literally got me on all the training stuff, onboarded me, and in 90 days he took a 2 week trip, and that for him was like to see how well Seamus can run the show, and he's like, dude. It's crazy because it just goes back to the systems the guy created was like the systems were so good. He's like, dude, I came back and like you guys were running the show better than I was. Like, what the fuck? I was like, it's like, well, you led us into that position, but it's like I think that's a great onus of a leader is like being able to give it to somebody else and going like, here's what I've taught you, go and he was such a great leader for that because he gave us the space to do that. He gave us the space to do and even made it better. So he was like really happy with it.
Yeah, and then that's super gratifying too, as a coach. It's like I'll talk to clients who are still just killing it. It's like, well, I'm not working with them anymore, and I'm just like, it's awesome seeing them implement it continuously, where I'm like, cool, it did not fade. Like, that's, you have your ones that do fade, and you're like, well, it can't save you, but the ones that do, you're like, man, that's why we do it. Like, that's amazing. And then he's going to just bleed that into anyone else he can help. It's like a trickle effect at that point. Yeah. So it's a cool experience when you kind of see it firsthand coming through because I mean again we'll apply the knowledge. It's just who will listen. I mean,
Good question. Is anybody out there listening? Apparently, Seamus. I mean, we were just feeling like we're just speaking into the ether for a while with this podcast, and seemingly now it's like gain some actual steam.
It needs some traction.
But
well, it's been about almost 200 episodes. But that comes to show, like, dude, it comes to show, Marcos, like, there's this guy on the internet. Apparently, he's like the number one like tech reviewer He's this like black guy, like looks good, young, and he's always like at every Apple, every Samsung, every Google thing. He has on just one platform 30 million people.
You know who
But
you're
I
talking
know
about.
it's probably closer to like 100 plus million followers, right? But when you look at the number of 100 million followers compared to like 8 billion, it's like, dude, he's probably still like, I haven't tapped everybody. You know what I'm saying? So it's like for us, like Luke, you're in Orange County, I'm in LA, Marcos is in Vegas. It's like, how much of our community can we tap? It's like, dude, it's probably like it's so like it's like there's so much potential, like we could keep tapping. That's why I feel like the podcast, right, Marcos? It's like we're gaining 200 episodes. It's like, oh, now we're finally seeing the numbers that are like, oh, that's creator status.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything you do long enough, I think it'll eventually kind of work itself out, and it you build it, they will come. It's like the Field of Dreams quote. It's to some extent, I know it's not always like that, but some things just kind of sink rather than float for the most part. But I think if you have something to offer and you provide value, then it just comes. It's time. You're consistent. It's to your point. You're like what you said straight into the call is like the name of the game is consistency. Like just putting out content, whether you think it's perfect or you think it's relevant. It's just that's what's picked up on. They're seeing that you're consistent with these episodes and you're serious about it. And then half of the time people are looking to see if you're serious. I feel like people are watching from afar. You know what I mean? And you people are really like they're there. They're just like, hey, how serious are these guys? Like, oh shit, they hit 200 episodes. Okay, I guess they're pretty serious. And maybe it clicks for them then, or maybe it clicks after 100. My point is like people have this mentality of like they just want to see that it's legit and like see that you're passionate enough to keep going with it.
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
Yeah.
Because anybody can start, no offense, it's like anybody can start a podcast. Good podcasts, ones that provide value that people actually want to listen to.
Yeah.
It's different.
Or just content in general, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are doing a hell of a lot better than me. I put it on the back burner, for a reason, because I'm not invested in that way just right now specifically. Where I'm like, I want to build a podcast that people listen to. Right, this, like I'm focused on other areas right now, but if that creeps back in, I'm going to do it that way and just realize like this is a process, but I got to provide value. Number one, like, what am I giving people what they want? Like, is someone taking from these episodes and going, damn, I can apply that, or I can like really take something from that, even if it's small. Mm-hmm. That's literally all it is, man. And some episodes won't click for certain people at all. They're like, the next one, great, fantastic. Right. So that's where it's like consistency and being able to not get in your head about it. It's like number one.
I mean, even the biggest podcasts on the planet has dud episodes.
Dude, I've seen Joe Rogan sometimes where I'm like, yeah no, not really.
Like, no, I'm not really feeling this one. And that's the beauty of it. It's like I got 2,000 other ones to go like listen to. I'll wait till tomorrow when another one drops. Like this person he had on. And here's the thing. He says it. He's like, look, I screen everybody and I get people on that I want to talk to. And if I want to talk to them, I'm going to talk to them. Same here. We're like, hey, right now we just want a bunch of people to talk to, content, and the educational value is going to be something that we value. And that's the biggest thing is like, we're looking to gain insight to other people's perspective, hence the name of the podcast. And, and like, we've defined these ideas of like pillars of health, and all the ways to kind of have them all coalesce in one place is, again, like if we look back and this never makes any money, it just costs us money. We had a good time doing it, and eventually fizzles out at episode whatever. Maybe we just, Seamus, if we ever call it like quits, if we want to do it, we got to get to like 9.99. Just never hit the.
That would be the number that I would do it to, just because it would be a constant lingering thing. Like maybe we do go back to 1,000.
Yeah, what if? It's just like, and but we look back and we're like, man, like all these guests that have given us the time of day since like episode 12 or whatever we have our first one on was really like, we still remember that. Like it means a lot to us, and we have a spreadsheet, a master spreadsheet, that we just go back and we're like, I remember this about that person. This person did this. And it's cool because it's just this like running list of just the name and the name of the episode and obviously all the back end stuff. But like, it means a lot to us because it's like, remember like what our thinking was in that year and how we've evolved. And then we think about like the technology boom that's kind of happening along with it. So like we have these like kind of real cool moments in our own memory, even though it all exists, like that we could probably just like drum it up with AI and be like, hey, take a look at this and give us some like a synopsis of that episode. But that wasn't a thing, dude. Like Luke, when did you start recording like your first episodes? Was it back like?
Man, I would say maybe a couple years ago. I literally say I have a podcast, it's like, again, it's very bottom level right now. Like, I'm not really active on it too much. Like, I promote it in my bio, but I mean, it's just kind of there because I
When's the
love
last
the
episode?
idea.
When's the
I'm
last
all
episode
about
you
it.
recorded?
What's that?
When's the last episode you recorded?
See, that's the thing.
This one right
That's
now.
my point. That's
This
my
one right
point.
now. Let's
Right
go,
now,
bro.
it's
You know
cross
what? What we'll
promoted.
have to
No,
do then is we'll have to come onto yours,
yeah,
and then we'll have to come onto yours separately. That's 3 separate episodes right there. Two,
yeah,
us 3 again, and then 1, 2, and 3 just Marcos and me, or what? Like, boom, there you go.
yeah, totally. Yeah, and I think again, it's more about where my head's at, where my attention is. It's not. It's for me. I'm like put my full attention into these things when I want to do it. You know, like
Yeah,
if
yeah.
right now, like High Rocks, like okay, dude, like I'm gonna become the best High Rocks athlete, like right now. But so the podcast has been on the back burner for that reason. But when I start it up, it's gonna be one of those things. Like when I start back with it, it's not gonna be like, oh, maybe I'll film an episode a day. It's gonna be like what you guys are doing. Like I'm getting content date, like it's gonna be a consistent thing where
Yeah.
I'm like just going with it. You know, I'm not gonna stop doing it.
If there's one piece of advice I'll give to you, and I think Marcos can sign off on this too, is that it's just a weekly call with Marcos and I that first started. It wasn't even a podcast. It was just us two talking to each other, and then it became a podcast. There's other reasons, but
Sure.
that weekly stand up, it's just become so powerful. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like
Yeah.
it's a journal. It's a therapy sesh. It's a content episode. It's a pod. You know, it's these things, and I think Marcos and I selfishly do it too, just because it's like, hey, look, there's this one thing every week. Over the last few weeks, it's been busier, but like, there's this one thing every week that we do. It doesn't matter what the content is. We fucking had conversations. We're like, what are we even talking about today?
Yeah.
But because it's this thing, and we just kept on going at it, I think what's come out of this, Marcos, like you've had some amazing content come out of it, right, Marcos? Or like people were like, oh, you do this thing, right? You know, so
I mean, I feel like it's just, again, it's just that the goal of like, I want to get better, of not coming off as pompous, but like educated. I want to feel like my speech is polished. I don't want a lot of filler words. I want there to be this, I want there to be this attention to detail in a lot of ways, so that when people are like, man, that guy really like knows his shit, but also like he speaks really well, and he also doesn't try to speak above me. And I've always felt like that's like my superpower, is like, how can I take something that's higher level and then, meet the people that are not quite there, and if they want to get there, cool, we can talk about that. But maybe they only want to get into the middle ground of that thing, right? And for me, that kind of all started as being a math tutor, where people are like, what's the point? And I was like, let me tell you, here's why you need this, right? And so I feel like it's just another vessel that we've channeled, Seamus, to like be able to give back in that sense. And it's what's weird is that doing this with people under the pretenses that there's somebody else listening on the other side has become far easier than when I'm in a room with people and I know I'm coming up in 30 seconds with my BNI group, dude. I get an adrenaline dump. I'm like, fuck, I have a script in front of me and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to say what's there. It's the craziest thing. But if you tell me to go speak in front of a room about the topic that I like of my choice, that I like did a little preparation on and I'm passionate about, no problem. Room of 50, 100. When I gave a speech as a valedictorian in high school, like I was excited as shit. I was like, I literally worked my ass off since 6th grade to be here to give this fucking speech. I don't think I ever told anybody like that. Like I was like, I want to be the person at the podium. Like, not that I have anything good to say necessarily, but I just want to know what that fucking feels like.
Well, let me be honest with you. Like, Luke, like one thing that I think too is I got tired of being, I guess like Tony Robbins happened this weekend. I didn't go to it, but like if there's like a drive, there is like a significance drive for sure that I have. I know that. And I don't wrestle with it. Like I know it. But I just got tired of being not the person, like Marcos and I kept chasing people, and we're still going to keep chasing people, but I'm tired of not being the person that's like, like, why? The question that always comes up for Marcos is like, why not us? You know what I'm saying? Like, why aren't we the ones sponsored on these podcasts? Why aren't we the ones? It's like, we know the same information. What did this person do? Oh, this person did this playbook. They just spent years making content, speaking on stages, being that person, and doing the work. And it's like, all right, Marcos, we're gonna do this. Like, and then we're speaking on stages and we're doing those things, and it's like, oh, and when you talk about the moment about like arriving and stuff, it's like, yeah, I don't really feel like we're just constantly arriving, but it's not like, yeah, you go into this like stage and it's like, oh my god, I made my life up. It's like, as soon as I got off a stage earlier this year, I was like, what the fuck did I do wrong? Like, did I need to speak louder? Like, did I click that thing? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like this moment you worked for all your life, kind of like what Marco said. It's like, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, how could that have gone better?
And honestly, I think what you guys mentioned earlier, where it's super important when you're building something to take moments to look back on where you were on episode 10, episode 20. Now you're doing 200, or you're on number 200 or around there. It's like, take those moments to look back. And I'm actually bad at that myself, so I'm telling other people to do it, but I'm not the greatest myself at it. Kate, my wife, Kayla, right?
Coaches need coaches, man.
She's the one where she's like, yo, but dude, you were like 2 years ago, you were doing, you know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, that's true. We're hard on ourselves naturally. We want to like do all these things, like crazy ideas, but it's like, that's super important, because just taking that little moment of like self-reflection of man, this works. Like, I wasn't seeing the vision. Maybe I'll be honest, 10 episodes in, I was like, man, I don't know here, and then now you're like, but technically that 190 episode growth is pretty immense if you look at it, from 10 to 200. Like, we were doing this, now we're doing this. And like, even if it's not huge or immense, it's like, that's what keeps it going, to be honest. I think that helps keep the consistency, like, I think that's huge.
I think go ahead, Marcos.
So we had a gentleman on last week, and as these episodes drop, it's like weird to like kind of talk in the future and past tense all at once. But we had a gentleman on last week, Jimmy Nutrition, and with Jimmy, he mentioned a few things that I think resonate with that exact thing. Right? It's like when we first started, it was an outcome related goal. If we do 2 episodes, it's better than like 95% of podcasts, because most people just do 1. So we're like, we joke, like, dude, we're fucking better than 95% of people because we did.
Well, technically, we technically are on Spotify, on different things. We're like in the top. I think we're like top 12, top 10 now. So
yeah, so it's like, all right, cool. So it's like, all right, incrementally better, very easily, very quickly. And then it came to like, could we do 1 a week? Can we get this many? Like, again, that goes, and now it's like it is no longer an outcome related goal. It's more of like a habit and value. Our value, our weeks do not, or days don't feel complete when we don't have conversations with other people that are like-minded thinking, because it's just nice to know other people are thinking the same way about like, how do I reach these clients, and am I like a bad coach because of these specialty cases that I don't know how to handle, or maybe they're really not meant for me because they're not in my niche, right? And do I, as nutrition coach, should I focus on more Dutch testing and all these like fancy mumbo jumbo things, or do I need it? And he's like, everything will really kind of basically digress or fall to the level of your values, right? And so at this point, it's just like, yeah, we know we're going to hit 200, 300, however many episodes. It's just like a matter of, what are the other things that we want to see happen as like fun? Because it's literally just, again, it's like a hobby at this point. And,
at this point. And like Marco said, like, we're putting money into this. We're trying to figure out some financial things, and then the extra work that we're doing. So it's like, it's more of an investment than it is, but it's that concept of what maybe people talk about this in mindset. It's like, if you're in the mindset of like, what am I getting out of this, then you've already lost. But like, what can I give? And I feel like Marcos and I have loved this quote. I use this guy's name a lot, but like Alex Ramosi, he's like, just give. Oh, and when you think you're almost done, just keep giving, keep giving, just keep giving. And I feel like Marcos and I are just doing that, and we're just gonna keep giving, even if we do this to the day we die. I'm just keep giving. And I think it's important, because what I've learned too is, outside of the outcome-based stuff that Marco was talking about, is, and I think this goes back to coaching, like that meta concept, is you find different ways to win. Found different ways to win. Better polished speaking, like what Marcos was talking about, right? Better editing skills, like things that were like, I didn't think that was part of this package, but like this whole package, there's other things that were part of it that like I've never learned about myself or developed. Patience. Right, Marcos? Like, Marcos is like, dude, Seamus is working on his fucking. I know, but it goes back to that whole thing, and it just kind of, this whole process. Again, going back to these analogies, right, Marcos? It's like it just develops,
Yeah, and it's like it's literally like fitness. Like, doing this is like fitness. Like, if we would have pumped out 200 episodes in 1 month, nothing happens. You trickle it out, and you have a little bit of a strategy, and you're like, okay, let's try 1 or 2. What's the workload look like? I will say that I have no editing skills, that Rachel has developed a bunch of different talents as a result of doing stuff on the back end for us. And, it's cool to be like, hey, like, she's like, you guys have gotten like really good. Like your episodes are better, blah, blah, blah. Like she's our biggest fan. I love it. Right. Like, of course you need that for the admin person.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, we were talking about this. I was like, she had to listen to every fucking episode that we came out because there was no way to just get like show notes, like with an AI tool. So like watching these things progress. And that's why I brought up that question for you is like, when you first started doing it, it was a couple of years back. I was like, man, this is a time sink. I got to listen. I got a timestamp. I got to blah, 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 blah. Like to make it look like I give a fuck. Right. Now that stuff gets kind of done automatically, but it becomes a lot harder to get into the swing of things because it's like, you know, I think we're super lucky and appreciative of the fact that we have someone that can do that stuff because otherwise it's like this wouldn't be a thing. You know, again, going back to like just working at it, you know, chiseling away, trying new things, right? We actually had to sit down with her, Luke, where we're like, hey, we need to know what you do now because it feels like it might be a lot and we need to figure out like how we can collaborate as a team to make everybody's lives easier. Going back to like that thing,
like operationalize this thing.
Yeah. And she was like showing to us on a Zoom video last week and she goes like, oh fuck, it kind of is a lot. I was like, yeah, I kind of figured that because like you've talked about it, but like to see it like operationally get done, you know, like how do we make it so that you only worry about like an edit versus worry about like some of like the finer details of things? Can we copy and paste fonts and text and things to be in a place where it's easier for uploads and stuff like that? And it's like kind of cool because it's like, again, like the team thing, whereas like we all have our individual silos, like our 1v1s, if you will. And like, that's a cool thing. And, you know, we just kind of let each other, you know, we lift each other up with the things that we like to do and we're good at versus like trying to pull each other down. And it's been like this, you know, it's a great foil and analogy to a lot of things in life because, you know, then you get to have conversations with people such as yourself and, you know, these ideas, they're not all hard, right? Like the fitness stuff, it's really not that hard. And having that like documentation, like you said, and the ability to look back, you know what the best way to look at how good your fitness is? Go look at photos of you with your kids and watch your body transform as you're going through the ages. Cause that shit happened to me today. And I was like, I was in decent shape there, but I'm nowhere where I am now. I've just kept consistent. I'm not even working that hard anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, I worked way harder back when Zeke was a baby. I saw this photo. I was dancing in front of him, Seamus. It was actually a video. And he's in his bouncer and he's like 6 months old, right? Laughing his ass off. And I'm over there. I was like, I'm a little chubby there. That was my dad bod like phase, you know? Into last year, you see this other transformation. Like, oh shit, that was a pretty nasty transformation. And then like right now, it's like, okay, like that's attainable. I know I can do it. Do I want to work that hard though? So I think like, you know, as coaches, we're like the one thing that I've always had the hardest time with is usually getting people to like send progress photos. Now people are like asking me like, hey, do you see a change? And they're taking the photos and I haven't even asked them for it. I was like, oh, you actually want me to go look at them? Hold on a second. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah. I think we're all susceptible to, you know, well, I mean, regarding fitness, like the dad bod, you can lose it so much faster than you gain it, right? So that's why, like, my biggest objective when I coach these guys is like, how can I implement tools that you can take long term, like when I'm gone, because it's gonna hit. You're gonna get busy. Like, yes, we are busy, and you can use that. You'll be able to use that excuse at times. Like, we will be a lot busier sometimes than others, but in those moments, how can I implement what Luke taught me to like stay the course, you know, and not let it mentally, oh, because I've worked with him on my mindset, oh, because I've worked with him on structure and routine and nutrition and like, you know what I mean? It's like, this is what we do now. This is a lifestyle. It's not just something I did for 90 days and then I'm going to lose that. No, it's like, if you're not taking it after that 90 days, I didn't do my job, you know? Like that's the biggest.
You set the standard. You set the standard and you stick with it.
It's a lifestyle. It's not just something you did. It's not something you invested. Created a whole different lifestyle that now your kids, that your wife, you know, like you're showing up better. That's it.
Yeah. It's. I love that we talk about it, and it's like the biggest thing Marcos and I, you know, always talk about is like, man, how could I just get someone to act faster, but then hold it for an unbearable amount of time, like just totally change. Like, yeah, we got you in this. Like, I just spoke with someone. I have an 8-week challenge coming up. I'm like, you're gonna come into the 8-week challenge, but I know with your health concerns, it's gonna be a year-long thing. Just stick with me for a year. Like, once you can change that thing of like, yes, you get them in with the challenge as coaches, right? Mm-hmm. But it's like realizing like, by the way, it's just a fucking challenge. It's like, we need to do this forever. Like, in perpetuity, as Marcos would say. But Marcos, any last things? I know we're over an hour. I want to make sure I'm respectful of Luke's time. But any last things from you, Marcos, with Luke?
I think like what you said there about like giving people the ability to go do it on their own, but also like do it again with you if you need it has been like a real big thing for myself over the last year, and witnessing, trying to build something that again is like you're saying, Seamus, like it goes on for forever. But my view of like creating this thing that's like there when you need it, but also like lets you kind of try to do it on your own, has been probably like the most important quote unquote creation that I've had thus far. I'm actually kind of in awe. Dude, Seamus, we, obviously I've been doing these gym challenges with people and trying to make it fun, inviting. I'm trying to create the thing that like would keep me engaged with something I would like really like to see happen, and be the person that leads that, because I'm all about having fun and trying to make it feel like easy.
Yeah.
50% of the people that joined our most recent one, granted it's at the same gym every time, but 50% of the people are repeating it. So they're getting positive outcomes and results, and they like doing it because it helps them focus when they need to just kind of cue in a little bit more. And I think that that's like the benefit of like a coach. Like, we're trying to teach these things, but the way in which we teach them can have like many different arcs over time. And that, I think that's like the biggest win, is to know like, yes, these people are still doing it. If I check in on them, hey, how you doing? Oh, I've been meaning to text you that I didn't want to bother you. It's like, you'll never be a bother, I promise you. Like once we've worked together, kind of like family, I want to know how you're doing. If you're ever struggling, reach out. But that's probably the biggest thing that I've learned, and I'm sure you can relate to that, is like people that had paid for your time previously feel bad for like reaching out to you when you're just really willing to help them, especially if they're going through some hard stuff or whatever that is.
Yeah.
So, I think, I mean, I'm appreciative, Luke, that you were able to come on and like talk those things and get me thinking even deeper about like, how to connect with these people even more, how to stay in it, especially when times are, could be a little bit more difficult, and especially during the end of the year, Q4 for everybody in health and fitness are generally like, butthole puckered a little bit, because it's like, probably ain't gonna get any new leads necessarily. And we're all like, all right, cool. We're gonna wait. We're getting geared up for Q1 now that it just started Q4.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's the thing too, man. That literally what it's like. That's where I don't sugarcoat stuff, and it's like, yes, I enjoy the holidays. I enjoy family. Like I'm not always on my A game. Nobody is. But again, I don't let the holidays. I don't use the holidays as an excuse to fall off either.
No.
Because I've created disciplinary actions like daily structured routines and I've done the mental work where it's like you could fall back pretty easy, but like I'm not going to, because it's no, like it's just a choice now, because I've trained my mind to go to the heart. Like,
yeah, it's so habituated in you. Yeah, it's so like it's if I didn't train a certain amount, I'm fucking like I'm gonna fucking kill somebody. Like,
yeah, yeah,
like I
no. And then people look at you and they think like, oh, it's easy for him, or he's just like, yeah. They don't understand, like, dude, it's a grind for me too. Like, I still have to continuously invest and do the mental work to stay there, because I'll lose it like anyone else. Like, I'm no better than you. I'm just doing more work internally. Technically,
I'll be honest with you. It's probably like me. I need this more than the person that's probably not doing the most, because it's like I'm probably like eating the crap out of the holidays.
Yeah,
I'm going hard. I'm the guy that's like, oh, God, this is 4 Thanksgiving and 1 Thanksgiving day.
Yeah, but here's my thing. Like I do that, and I'll be done. But like I do point. Like I'm not this guy like on a pedestal. Like I have those moments too, dude. Like I go back home to Illinois, visit my family. Like I know I'm gonna be off my game, but like how do I bounce back? Like, oh, this is what we're doing now, because I know I'm gonna have this off 3 days, 4 days, whatever, just eating shit or what have you, or lacking a little bit, but it's okay, because how I respond to that when I get home.
I think the best way to say it is like, I think for coaches, and it's like there's a better temperance. Like they know how to like get back to, like they go but they come back. Like it's temperance. Well, I know we're kind of over time, but Luke, where can people find you? Where can they work with you? It sounds like not just in Orange County, but they can work with you online now, or it seems like it's there. So where can people find you? And just put that out there, and we'll end it here.
Yeah, Instagram's probably the best way. I really don't get on too many other platforms. Instagram's lowercase L, last name Barrow Fitness, all one word. I'm most active on there. I run, right now currently doing like a 90-day program for men and dads specifically. It's all kind of all over my page and bio, and I'm posting pretty continuously right now about that. So if you want to shoot me a follow, I think a lot of people are scared to like reach out in the DMs. You know what I mean? I think it's especially like man to man, they feel like that weird, like, I don't know. think it's sometimes weird for people. They get in their heads about it. But my point is, feel free to reach out, add me. I'm easy to talk to. I'm a good dude. So yeah. Even if you just aren't interested in my services, feel free to add me and just chop it up.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, dude, appreciate you. Thanks for coming on, just giving us, time of day. Hopefully, as this episode drops, that, maybe some people reach out. Again, our reach is not massive, but people are genuinely enthusiastic about fitness and looking for people and, saying the right things. Like I know we're just liaisons for, people finding the right people at this point. There's plenty of people to go around and, we're not everyone's cup of tea. I'm sure I know for a fact I'm not, so, but if you're looking for someone that's a little more, cutthroat, hard nosed, looking to kind of, give it to you straight, Luke's your guy, everybody. So give us a like, a follow, a share, a subscribe, or whatever, all greatly appreciated on the platform of your choice. Yeah. Until next time, Macro Perspective peeps, we're out.
Thanks, guys.